You've scrolled past another business success story on your phone today, haven't you? Some 23-year-old claiming they quit their job and hit six figures in 6 months. And for a split second, maybe while you're sitting in traffic or lying in bed at 3 a.m., or hiding in the bathroom at work, you think, could I do that? That question has been eating at you for months now, consuming more mental energy than you'd ever admit out loud. I'm Hank. And I spend way too much time digging into the actual numbers behind these stories so you don't have to. Here's what I found. You're not just unlikely to succeed. You're statistically more likely to destroy your financial life than build the freedom you're imagining. The people selling you the dream know this. They're counting on you not knowing what I'm about to show you. By the end of this video, you'll see business ownership completely differently. And you'll know exactly what separates the 1.5% who make it from the 98.5% who don't. Let's go. You're living through the biggest entrepreneurial explosion in modern history, and you have no idea what that actually means for your survival. January 2026, 532,000 to 319 business applications filed in a single month. That's 50% more than the pre-pandemic baseline of 280,000 from 2019. Why does this matter to you? Because you're not alone in this dream. You're competing with 500,000 other people who believe they are the exception. Here's the thing. 147,516 of those applications are high propensity. These aren't hobbyists. These are founders planning to hire employees and scale. These are your real competitors, the people who are going all in just like you're thinking about doing. The velocity is breaking records. 7.2% month-over-month surge from December to January. That new year, new business energy, it's not just you feeling it. It's everyone. So where are they all going? Retail, trade, and professional services dominate. But tech-enabled service applications climbed the steepest over the past 12 months. Translation, people are building digital-first businesses that operate from anywhere. Overhead light, theoretically unstoppable. Now here's the number that changes everything for you. The Census Bureau projects only 30,000 of January's 532,000 applicants will successfully transition into actual employer businesses within the next year. 5.6% conversion rate. Let me say that differently. 95% of the people filing business applications right now will never become actual business owners. They'll stay stuck in aspiration mode forever. Why? What's killing their dreams before they even start? Here's what's happening. Small businesses now drive over 70% of net new job growth since 2019. This is a structural transformation. Treasury data shows workers are deliberately trading corporate roles for autonomy. This isn't desperation. This is intentional independence. And your timing should be perfect, right? These digital-first setups are overhead light, more resilient to market shocks than traditional businesses. No storefronts, no massive inventory, just you and your laptop, which means your odds should be better than ever before. Except they're not. And here's why. You can have the perfect business idea, the perfect timing, the perfect market, and you'll still never make it past the starting line. Why? Treasury data exposes your real enemy, access to credit. It's the single greatest obstacle for new firms trying to scale. And in today's high interest rate environment, this barrier will crush your dreams in silence. Here's what this looks like for you. 532,000 applications filed in January. The vast majority will stay frozen in aspiration mode. They can't get the funding to hire, can't purchase inventory, can't lease space. They just stay stuck. And here's the cruelty you're facing. Founders who started in 2019 to 2021 borrowed at 3, 4, maybe 5%. You're looking at 10 to 12% for small business loans. Your competitors got cheap money. You get expensive money. The game changed, and nobody told you. Here's the thing. Even your overhead light, digital-first model needs capital. Marketing costs money. Technology and infrastructure costs money. Your first hire costs money. You can't bootstrap forever. Eventually, you need cash. And if you can't access it, you're done. Now let me show you where most dreams die. The employer business threshold. This is your financial cliff. The gap between solo operation and hiring your first employee. Payroll. Benefits. Workers' compensation insurance. Compliance costs. This creates a capital requirement you probably can't meet. You can be profitable as a solopreneur. You can have revenue. But the moment you try to scale, you hit a wall. And depending on your sector, the wall is different heights. Information and transportation startups face higher capital barriers than healthcare or agriculture businesses. Your industry determines your odds before you even start. So you end up in one of two classes. Those with personal wealth, family money, or existing business equity can scale. Everyone else stays trapped in micro-business purgatory forever. Your business model doesn't matter. Your work ethic doesn't matter. Access to capital determines everything. But let's say you're one of the lucky ones. You clear the capital barrier, you get funded. You hire. You become an employer business. Now the real survival game begins. You cleared the capital's barrier. Congratulations. Now you're entering a game where the house always wins, and your odds get worse the longer you play. Year 1, 20% of new employer businesses fail. 1 in 5, sort gone. Why? Cash flow, not profitability. Cash flow. Listen carefully. You can have a viable product, growing sales, happy customers, and you'll still go bankrupt. Here's how. Your customers pay you in 60 to 90 days. Your suppliers demand payment in 30. You suffocate before you can prove your business works. This is the cash flow paradox. You're profitable on paper, bankrupt in reality, because timing matters more than profit. So you survive year 1. You've figured out cash flow. You've proven market demand. You're feeling confident. Here's what's waiting for you. Year 5. Survival rate drops to 49%. It's a coin toss. Half of all businesses that made it through year 1 will still fail by year 5. Why does this happen to you? Because years 2 to 5 are the valley of death. You're simultaneously managing operations, refining product market fit, building your team, competing with established players, and maintaining your personal financial stability. The cognitive load is staggering. The emotional load is crushing. You're solving every problem, fighting every fire, and watching competitors with more resources, more experience, more runway pull ahead. But here's where it gets interesting for you. If you survive to year 5, your probability of reaching year 10 jumps to 70%. Only 34% of businesses reach the decade mark. But once you're there, you're in the elite survivor class. The brutal filtering process of years 1 to 5 actually creates your foundation. You've proven you can adapt, survive shocks, build systems that work. Here's the catch. Your sector determines your baseline odds. Information and transportation businesses have lower survival rates than healthcare or agriculture. Your industry choice matters more than your effort, and the statistics aren't random. They're Darwinian. Businesses with genuine product market fit, adequate capitalization, adaptive founders, and market timing survive. Everyone else gets systematically eliminated. So let's do your math. You file your application. 5.6% chance of becoming an employer business. Year 1, 20% fail. Year 5, 51% fail. Compounded? Your odds of building a decade-long business from today are 1.5%. 1.5%. They don't lead with these numbers because if you knew them, you'd never start. The entrepreneurial ecosystem needs your optimism bias to survive, but here's what's worse than the statistics. It's what the fear of these odds is doing to you right now. The statistics are brutal, but what's crushing you isn't the numbers. It's the fear of the numbers. And that fear is paralyzing an entire generation. Global Entrepreneurship Monitor data. 49% of adults globally cite fear of failure as the primary reason they won't start a business. That's a massive increase since 2019. The psychological barrier is growing faster than the business formation rate. Here's your opportunity paradox. 40% of the population sees good opportunities to start a business, but 85% of those people will never act. That includes you, doesn't it? You see the opportunity. You know it's there, but you can't pull the trigger. Millions of viable businesses never exist because you can't overcome the psychological barrier. Why is this happening to you? Information abundance is breeding your paralysis. You have access to more data, more case studies, and more survival statistics than any previous generation. And it's creating analysis paralysis. You see every possible failure scenario, every way it could go wrong, and you freeze. Here's what predicts your failure before you even start. Self-perceived capability, your belief that you have the skills to succeed. It's the #1 predictor of entrepreneurial success. And it's declining among your generation despite higher educational attainment. Think about what that means for you. You have more formal education than your parents, more access to information, more digital literacy, yet you feel less capable. There's a massive disconnect between your academic preparation and your practical entrepreneurial readiness. You've been educated in a way that makes you feel less equipped to actually build something. And here's your cognitive dissonance. Despite your fear, you still view entrepreneurship as a high-status career path. Over 70% of people do, so you simultaneously desire and dread the entrepreneurial path. You want the status, the autonomy, but you're terrified of the reality. Social media made this worse for you. The Instagram economy shows you hyper-visible entrepreneurial success while hiding all the failures. You feel you must achieve venture-backed rapid growth success, or you've failed. The middle-class business isn't celebrated anymore. If you're not scaling to millions, you're not legitimate. Here's what makes your potential failure uniquely devastating: isolation. Corporate failure gets blamed on leadership or market forces. Your entrepreneurial failure will feel intensely personal. You'll internalize your business's death as proof of your personal inadequacy. The psychological cost will exceed the financial loss. You'll lose your money, but also your identity, your confidence, your sense of competence. And here's your human tragedy. Your paralysis represents not just your lost business, it's lost innovation, lost jobs you would have created, lost economic activity, lost personal fulfillment. Your fear costs more than your potential failure ever could. The vicious cycle. The more transparent the survival rates become, the more your fear increases. The more your fear increases, the more only the risk-tolerant or financially privileged proceed. And while you're paralyzed by these statistics, you're missing the disruption that will make all of them irrelevant. You're obsessing over the wrong metrics. While you're calculating survival rates and paralyzed by fear, you're completely blind to the disruption that will destroy you. Here's your shocking reality. Less than 30% of new founders are actively planning for artificial intelligence-driven disruption. That means you, and 70% of businesses starting right now, are building without accounting for the single largest technological shift in business history. Global Entrepreneurship Monitor calls this your silent risk. Artificial intelligence disruption isn't a future threat. It's happening right now. And it will disproportionately destroy you because you're making structural decisions today, your staffing model, your service offerings, your pricing strategy, based on a world that's already disappearing. Why is this blind spot more dangerous than your capital constraints? A business without funding can pivot. You can bootstrap. Find creative solutions. But your business built with a fundamentally obsolete model will be systematically eliminated by competitors who integrated artificial intelligence from day one. You can't pivot away from a flawed foundation. Here's the competitive asymmetry being created against you right now. The 30% planning for artificial intelligence are building with automation, artificial intelligence enhanced service delivery, and adaptive models. You and the 70% who aren't. You're building labor-intensive manual operations that will be undercut on price and outperformed on service quality within 36 months. Think about what this means for your survival. You'll be struggling with cash flow, market fit, and hiring in years 1 to 5. Simultaneously, you'll face artificial intelligence-driven competitors operating at lower costs, faster speeds, and higher quality. The survival gauntlet just got exponentially harder for you. Your sector-specific vulnerability. Information and transportation businesses already have lower survival rates. These are precisely the sectors where artificial intelligence disruption is most advanced. Autonomous vehicles, artificial intelligence-generated content, automated logistics. If you're entering these markets without artificial intelligence strategy, you're walking into certain failure. Your 2026 to 2030 reality, high interest rates, elevated survival pressures, widespread fear, and unprecedented technological disruption. A perfect storm where your traditional entrepreneurial playbook becomes obsolete. Your existential question, are you building your business for a world that will no longer exist by the time you reach your 5-year survival test? Behind every survival statistic is a human being whose life has been fundamentally altered, and you're about to become one of them. Your personal financial devastation, when your business fails, and 80% due by year 5, it will take your life savings, your retirement accounts, your home equity, years of your unpaid labor, hundreds of thousands of your dollars, your irreplaceable time. But it won't just destroy you. Your family structure will tear apart. Your spouse who supported your dream. Your children who saw less of you during the startup years. Your extended family who invested money or co-signed your loans. Your psychological trauma will persist long after closure. You'll report depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, like symptoms at rates comparable to combat veterans. Your shame and perceived personal failure will create lasting mental health consequences for you. Your opportunity cost. If you're 35 and spend 5 years building a business that fails, you'll reach 40 with no retirement savings, a gap in your employment history, reduced lifetime earnings potential. Your compounding effect of lost years is catastrophic. Your failed business represents your innovation permanently lost, your employees who would have been hired, your innovations that would have been developed, your community economic activity that never materialized. And if you lack generational wealth, your odds are even worse. Access to capital. Being the number one bottleneck means entrepreneurial failure disproportionately destroys founders without family money. This systematically excludes you from wealth building through business ownership. Your societal cost. They told you business ownership is your path to financial independence. Then they created a system with a 98.5% failure rate for you. This isn't unfortunate. This is systematically destructive to your future.